guys, welcome to the Growth Stack Drive podcast. I'm your host, Ken Joslin, where we help business leaders build confidence, gain clarity, and create community. I've got my good friend, Russ Yeager, from all the way from Atlanta, Georgia here. Russ, a dad of 3, body and business transformation specialist. I had to make him wear a shirt today because he's got guns, he's got abs, multiple fitness studio owner. He's an author, he's a speaker. I saw Russ, I met him last year, actually a little bit over a year ago at 10X GrowthCon in Vegas, where Russ grabbed the stage, grabbed the mic, and grabbed the audience. Russ, man, welcome, my friend.
What is up, Ken? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, take a minute real quick. I mean, I just gave you like this ridiculously awesome intro, but take a minute and tell our audience a little bit more about who you are and about what you got going on, man.
It was ridiculously awesome. And, normally I don't wear a shirt on the podcast, but I did today. Though, man, you're getting totally jacked and buffed, dude. So
come on, man. I'm trying.
Maybe we should do the next one shirtless.
My audience would leave quick.
But yeah, man. So as Ken said, I'm a body life transformation specialist. I have 2 personal training studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. Have 14 team members that work with me, 14 coaches, coach people in, I think we're in 15 states now, 7 countries. And, I do this because I grew up the chubby kid. I'm 6'6", I'm a tall guy. So you can't tell sitting down, but I managed to grow up tall, lanky, bucktooth, headgear, and chubby at the same time. Had the friggin' spare tire. I hated it, decided I was going to get rid of it, didn't know what to do. Finally, when I got introduced to lifting weights, I started getting muscles. Like, I really like this, but still didn't understand nutrition and started trying to study more and more on my own. Had some decent success. Went into school, got my undergrad master's in accounting. So I'm a CPA by trade. And then finally, so, in my 20s, I'm working long hours, drinking, partying with my friends and coworkers. And I always wanted to have the abs. Like, I grew up watching WWF wrestling, and I wanted to be one of the, guys with abs. So finally at 27, I said, I'm going to just do it. So I entered one of those 12-week before and after contests. I hired a coach, hired the top natural bodybuilder in the world at the time. And I said, I'll do whatever it takes. Just tell me. So did exactly what he said. In 12 weeks, took my body fat from around 25% to about 5%, which for people who don't know, that's like basically, bodybuilding stage ready. I mean, no body fat, shredded, finally had the abs. And I was like, man, this is awesome. People at work and, at the gym, like, dude, what did you do? Can you help me do it? And I said, well, yeah. And so I got certified as a trainer, started, part-time helping people, started doing online nutrition and coaching programs. This is back in 2002, before online was coaching was really a thing, and went from there, and then started seeing the correlation. I was working with a lot of successful, business owners and executives, and they were, of course their bodies were transforming, but they were making more money, more energy, more confidence, you said it, and happier. And so that's when I made that, but the direct correlation, I mean, happier, more confidence, more energy, of course, better relationships. But that's when I noticed that direct correlation between the more physically, mentally, and emotionally fit you are, the more money you're going to make. And so that's what I do now, man.
I was going to ask you, I was going to say the most important question I want to ask you today is how is the body and the business, that transformation correlated? But I think the most important question I need to ask you is, who's your favorite WWF wrestler of all time? I mean, that may be what people show up for.
That's the big question. Hulk Hogan growing up, man. I actually, Ken, wrote a letter to Hulk Hogan. Dear, guys, it's funny how, we can't remember. So I can't remember things I did 5 minutes ago, but I remember this. I could see the letter, and it was Dear Hulk Hogan. And I wrote this long letter to him. And actually, one of my mom's friends, somehow he got it, and he wrote me back and sent me all this like paraphernalia and the headband back in the yellow and red headband.
I love it.
So yeah, definitely Hulk.
I love it. I'm a Ric Flair guy. So, to be the man, you got to beat the man. To beat the man, you got to walk that aisle, baby. Woo! So I'm a Ric Flair guy. Yes, sir. I was going to do that, but I knew you were going to do it for me. So let's talk a little bit about, because you mentioned because you didn't go into it to help people's businesses. You went into it to help people's body transformations and help people really experience the same thing that you had experienced. But in helping business owners and business leaders transform their bodies, you realize what?
I realized that the better they feel, you think about it. I tell people it takes in 3 months, just like I did. If you're serious, you're doing it right, you can transform your body. What I found is about 6 months is to where, and it's not not an exact science, but about 6 months, you've been doing it consistently. You've got the body, you've got the habits. It's pretty much a habit, almost like brushing your teeth. You still need to stick with it. You still need some kind of accountability. I need accountability, but I'm sure we'll talk about that. But it becomes a habit. But you're one workout away from a better mood and walking into the office a different man or woman.
Yeah.
You walk in, I mean, it's just, you work out.
Yeah.
You just feel different. You feel, if you're feeling bad, now you're feeling good. If you're feeling good, you feel like Superman or Superwoman. And you walk in and people can feel that. It's that magnetic attractiveness, I like to call it. And people respond to you different. Your employees, your team members, your vendors. And when you've got that energy, you're going to make more money. It's going to correlate it to it in the short term. And in the long term, you're able to sustain yourself on the earth. Warren Buffett, right, one of the richest men in the world, talks about one of the reasons he's so rich. He lived a long time. He's lived a long time.
Yeah.
So being able to have that, that energy to sustain yourself. So there's absolutely a direct correlation.
You said something just a minute ago. You said when I went through this 12-week transformation, number one, the first thing you said that I was like, oh, you said I did everything he told me to do. Number two, you said when I did that, I went from 25 to 5% body fat. My abs were shredded. And this is the most important thing is, you said people at my gym started taking notice. Like people started noticing and asking questions about what was going on in that transformation. Talk to me about when did that light bulb go off for you, Russ, where you went, I want to help other people take the same journey that I took.
As soon as I won the contest, it was a supplement company that sponsored it. So I got to be a sponsored athlete with them at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, which is still the biggest bodybuilding, fitness expo in the world. I got started writing for some of the bodybuilding and fitness magazines, and it was really cool. And I was like, this is what I was put on earth to do. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know that I'm gonna do this. And then it just, like I said, okay, next logical step, I'm gonna get certified as a trainer. That seems to make sense. I got my first client. It was a guy at the gym named Doug, and then a second client, Phyllis, who was a friend, said, "Can you train me?" And I started training them. Like, wow, I can make money helping people improve their health and their bodies. And then I started noticing, they started telling me, man, just my relationships are better. I enjoy my business better. I'm making more money. And so that's when I made that connection. And then it was 2002, I won the contest. I knew it was what I was put on it to do, but I had a good job. I was climbing the corporate ladder. I was making what I thought was good money at that time. It was good money at that time. Right. And I was scared to leave my job. And I was, like you heard me say at GrowthCon last year, my dad, who was my, biggest hero, supporter, I was eating what ended up being our last pizza together. And yes, I still eat pizza. That's just something I definitely want to talk about, is my views on eating and making something sustainable. But I was telling him, man, I want to open the studio. I think it's what I should do. And he worked for the phone company, Bell South, for 39 years, and same job, super conservative. And, I had so much respect for my dad. And he said, son, I remember when I was telling my dad, or my granddad said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with your life? And my dad's answer was, I don't know, but I'm going to be successful at it. He said, you'll be successful. Oh man, sorry. He said, I know you'll be successful. And that was gave me the courage to go do it. And so, 2006, I quit my job, cold turkey, and opened my first studio. And I went from there, man.
Talk to me about, obviously that moment for your dad, even it's been 17, 18 years ago, is still a huge moment in your life. And you can tell when you get emotional like that. Talk to me about obviously the transformation in your life, the relationship you have with your dad, in that, he basically passed that torch on to you. I mean, he handed you the baton and said, now it's your turn to run. And now it's your turn to do the same thing that I did, several decades ago when I told my dad I was going to be successful. Son, you got it. Now go be successful. Talk to me about that journey. Because you stepped out of, it's so funny when I talk to entrepreneurs who have been in, Carlos Reyes is a real good friend of mine, one of the top, home wholesaler flipper guys in the world. They've got 6 or 7 businesses that are 7 and 8 figures a piece. First Rolls Royce I ever rode in, right? But Carlos's whole journey started when he did exactly what you did. When he stepped out of about $150,000 a year corporate job into, okay, now I gotta make it happen on my own. Talk to me about that journey and what, obviously your conversation with your dad was a trigger for you to be able to take that, a catalyst for you to take that step, but talk about the beginning of that journey for you, Russ, and what that was like for you.
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, I was doing a little bit part-time, making some cash, doing a little bit of online. I just didn't know. It's kind of like had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to be successful. And so I was just like, I was writing articles on bodybuilding.com. They started paying me. And then people would say, hey, can you online train me? I didn't even know what that meant. Yeah, sure. And then I found these other guys that were really successful. And so I said, hey, I created this DVD. I'm going to create a DVD. That sounds like something good to do. And I said, hey, how about, I found this guy that's got a pretty big list. And I said, I don't remember what I said to him, but try to add some value. And I said, what if we market my DVD to your list and, split the profits, whatever. And he said, well, send it to me first. He's like, yeah, this is really good. He did it. And I don't know, we sold like 30, 40 DVDs. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. So I'm just kind of going at it without really knowing what I'm doing. But, it was just like it's a risk. It was a risk. But, for me, I can tell you this, at 28 years old, I had no kids. I had saved up some money. I could live off of almost nothing. So it was the time. Like I was like, I can do this. Yeah, it's a risk. I quit my job with nothing secure, but I know that, if I'm not going to do it now, I may never do it. And I remember shortly after I opened my first studio, I got interviewed by a local newspaper, and she said, were you scared to leave your job? I said, yeah, of course I was, but I was way more scared of, being 80 years old and wondering what if. And so I'm grateful that I did it then. I'm telling you, I got 3 kids now, are much more responsibility, much bigger living expenses. It would be harder to make a change now. And we're both, Grant Cardone's one of our mentors, but, mutually, and he talks about it. Like a lot of people think they just have to leave their job and go do their thing. Well, no, you can become your best at your job, make money, and then spend an hour in the mornings or an hour at night, beginning to build your side business. And then once your, side business is making as much money, or really probably double what you're making in your normal business, then you can leave. So at any age, I did I'm just going, but it's different for everybody. You gotta take, and especially.
And you were in a position, Russ, to be able to do that. Like you mentioned it just a minute ago, like we didn't have any kids. I was 28 years old. Like, so a lot of those variables really lined up for you. And it was a good time for you to be able to make that transformation, even though it wasn't easy. That transition was still difficult for you. Talk to me about the fulfillment aspect that you get out of watching other people go through that same transformation that you've gone through.
Dude, it's incredible, man. I mean, still Kathy, one of my clients, she's 66 years old, and she worked with us about 5 years ago and had some success and then fell off. And she's throughout her whole adult life has lost weight, gained it back, struggled with it. And then she came back about 8 months ago, and she said, I got to do this. I'm ready. And so she's got, I'm losing 100 pounds. She's lost over 50 pounds now. She's halfway. We communicate rarely. She works with a couple of my, trainers. And I was talking to her the other day, because she's like, everybody's asked her, what are you doing? She's like, how do I refer people to you? And I'm like, well, I can tell you that. It's easy. And I said, Kathy, let me ask you, because I know you're losing the 100. Like there's a zero doubt in my mind. Right. I can see it. I was like, what's different, this time? And she said, at 60, even at 60, it's like I almost thought I was invincible. At 66, I realized I'm not invincible, and I don't want to. I've had several friends die of COVID and strokes recently. I don't want to die. I want to be here, and as long as I'm here, I want to enjoy life, and it's just unacceptable anymore. So she got to that point where there was no other option but to change. But she said
there was some urgency. There was some urgency with her.
Urgency, and she said it. You guys aren't just changing lives, you're saving lives. And it made me think, and I shared that with my team, and I'm like, it's really true, guys. Like we know that exercising, eating healthy helps reduce significantly the risk of heart disease and most cancers and diabetes and all that stuff that comes later in life. But there's literally a disease right now that how healthy you are can determine whether you live or die. And so I am on a mission to not only change lives but save lives, and I believe we're doing that.
3 things we talk about at Growth Stack Drive that we really help business leaders with is, number 1, build confidence. Number 2 is gain clarity. because there's a lot of business owners who have dreams, have no idea how to accomplish it. And the third thing is create community. Is really having a community of like-minded entrepreneurs and business professionals around them to help them on the journey. You mentioned just a minute ago that when that lady was sharing her story with you, the first thing you did was go share it with your team. Talk to me about your journey as a business owner, building your team, where you came from and where you guys are at now, and some of the lessons that you've learned, transferable principles you've learned along the way, Russ.
Dude, we could spend the rest of the day talking about this. So I'll just say this. I started my business in 2000 and into 2006. So basically 15 years in business approximately. And I was young, I was hungry, I was gonna rule the world, didn't know what I was doing, had some success, went from 1 studio to 3 in just under a year. Opened my third studio January 3rd, 2008. We all know, well, if you're old enough, you remember what happened in 2008. We pushed through and survived. And so I've been through so many ups and downs, just like every entrepreneur. And I had good team members, and I learned sales and marketing because I knew that was important. I got really good at it. And so we were growing. We hit 7 figures, and then we, hit 1.1 million, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And it was great. But this is literally, this is just a couple of years ago. So I'm going to save somebody a lot of time and frustrations. And I've been following Grant, for 4 or 5 years. He's like, you got to go big. You got to go big. I'm like, shit, man. Like I'm already killing myself to make, 1.3 million. If I make 10 million, it's 10 times harder. And it's the wrong mindset. I had good people, and I always heard you got to have systems. You got to have systems. But I resisted it. And so finally I got smart, and I work with a one-on-one coach now. I'm working about a year, and I've slowed down. I hate that word a little bit, to put the systems in and realize now. And now I'm working with Brandon Dawson, Grant's partner, and their team as well. Like it's not about me. And I feel like I'm a humble guy, but it was really like Brandon helped me see it's the ego, dude. Like you're not the only one that can do stuff. And I held on to sales for so long, Ken. Like I'm the only sales guy. I'm the best.
I just hired my first salesperson Monday. They started with me full time.
That's awesome, bro. It's so freeing. So now I'm 6th in line, Ken, for sales. And guess what? Are they as good as me? Some of them are pretty freaking good. Yeah. But as Grant says, you got 10 people, doing even 1/10 as good as you are. You've just doubled your productivity. So now it's pouring into them. So my 2 jobs now, other than the admin crap I was telling you about earlier, that's, because we are expanding one division, is making my team great and promoting my business. Everything else is done through systems with my team.
Yeah, you said earlier.
And that's the best lesson I can get for people. If you want to stay small and be a one-man operation, and you can make 7 figures, gross and possibly net, make good 6 figures. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to judge, but if you want to scale a business, you've got to focus on systems and making your people great.
Well, it's just hard because John Maxwell talks about it in the 21 laws. It's the law of the big mo. So when you get momentum behind you, listen, in business, and listen, you're a business owner out there, listen to Russ and I have this conversation today. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. There's no, I hit 7 figures, I'm comfortable now. Because the moment you get comfortable and the moment you take your foot off the gas, you begin to move backwards. Like there's no, let me just relax. Let me pull off the road and get on this rest stop for just a little while. Because you're always going to be moving backwards or forwards. You said something just a minute ago I want to hit. You said, I thought, and this is a mindset issue, and then you talked about mindset. I thought going to 1 million to 10 million means I need to work 10 times harder. That's impossible. Tell me what was the aha moment that you had where you went, okay, that's not true.
It was finally getting a coach that had scaled, Pete, and then now with Brandon Dawson is just realizing it's not how it works, and that's not how it should be. And I'd heard that, but it's like, I don't know, it clicked, I guess, because I was frustrated enough where again, we have a good life, but I'm not reaching my full potential. And I'm a high paid salesman, basically, that doesn't have time for his kids. So now at this point, I'll tell you what really got me. It's like there's always, and Grant talks about this, it's not one event, it's like these little events, but I went to the 360 event and Brandon Dawson's, talking to me, and I'm talking about my mission. My mission is to help 10 million people get the physical, mental, emotional health they need to fulfill what they were put on earth to do and live a life they love. He said, well, you're doing a shitty job. You're like, you're not helping enough people. And so that really, really hit me, man. And it realized like, you can't do it alone. So I can tell you this now, I mean, we're still in transition, but I'm not going to say I'm working less, because I'm working a lot, but I'm working in the business less than I ever had. And we're making more money than we ever have.
You're working on the business, not in the business.
100%. And again, I'd heard that for years, but I didn't really get it.
Connect the dots.
If you don't get it and you're not doing it, man, get a coach that has done it before and can help you.
One of the core values that we have at Growth Stack Drive, and one of the core values I have on my team for my businesses, my real estate team and my Growth Stack Drive team, is teachability. We're not only open to feedback, but we actively pursue feedback. Dude, your mission statement, it just flows off you, dude. The first time I heard you, I'm like, dude, this guy's smooth. Like, I don't even know Russ, but I like this guy because it just flows. There's so much passion that comes out of you when you're talking about what you want to do in life. For Brandon Dawson, look at you and go, bro, you're doing a crappy job. Like you ain't like, you're like, what? Most people, when somebody said that to them, would have just kind of cowered in the corner and been like, oh, well, somebody's not going to talk to me that way. What made you go, okay, he's right. He's probably right. And I need to listen. Like, what inside you triggered that response, Russ?
I've learned to be coachable. I think our egos are one of the things that gets in our way the most. So I've learned to be, coachable. And it goes back to, I can think of sophomore JV basketball, Coach Honeycutt. And I remember, in practice, and, we were doing suicides, and, I was loafing it a little bit, and he grabbed me. He's a little guy, half my height, but fiery, man. He grabbed me. It's like, you never, ever loaf it here. If you loaf it here, you're going to loaf it in the game. You need to go to war.
Wow.
And it clicked, man. And then I became like a maniac. Like, I was diving for the balls. I was the guy. I remember I had 4 fouls in the first quarter one time. So I was like so aggressive. And then I remember by the end of the season, he said, if I was going to go to war in a foxhole, I want Yeager with me.
I want you with me.
And so that just stuck with me, man, of if somebody challenges me, I'm going to step up.
I love that. Confidence, clarity, community. Talk to me about what those 3 things mean to you in your business and in your life, Russ.
I think confidence is everything. I mean, we could talk about mindset, all day long, right? What happens between 6 inches between your ears is so important. It controls everything. What you think about is what you talk about. What you talk about is what you do. What you do becomes your days, becomes your weeks, becomes your months, becomes your life. And there's so much, a lot of people ask, how are you so positive, man? You're like the most positive guy I know. It's intentional. Mm-hmm. So I can answer that the same way. How are you 46 years old, fit dad with abs? I work at it every single day for a long time. I work at the mindset. I tell people, if you go through the day neutral, you're going to end up negative. The news has always been so negative. I had a mentor a long time ago, and I'm so grateful for this. Tell me that watching the news is like putting poison in your veins. But, that got me. And so I haven't watched the news for a long time. People say, well, what if there's something, how are you going to know what's going on? If it's important enough, somebody's going to tell me, right? Probably 20 people are going to tell me. And, but now more than ever, I mean, the social media, and I thought I was smart. I was like, I don't watch the news, but I realized social media, if you're not careful, is bombarding you with that negativity. So I'm super intentional about reading, listening to, things that feed my mind, fuel my mind, increase that confidence. It's everything, man. Because if I'm not confident, I'm not going to be at my best, and my team is going to feed off that. If I'm not confident or uncertain, then they're not going to be confident and uncertain. Now that's multiplied out, 14 times or, 50 times or 100 times or 1,000 times, 50,000 times, however many employees you have. Everything flows from the top. And the fastest way, I believe, to increase your confidence is to get an awesome workout in. Instant mood booster.
I love how you turn that right back to getting physically fit and getting your workout in.
I can't help it,
Talk,
man.
talk to me about community. The last part of what we do and talk about it at Grow Stack Drive. Talk to me about community. What's the 10X community for you? What's that? What's that
It's
meant to you?
incredible, man. I mean, the 10X community, I can literally never thank, Grant Cardone and Jared and those guys for what they've done. Yeah, I've worked hard, but like he put me on his GrowthCon stage. He put me in the past year. Then I got to be, won the pitch off. And then Pete Vargas played me on the GrowthCon again. So I've been on his last 3 big stages like that. And the money we've made for that, over 6 figures, just in people coming up, hey, I want to work with you because they saw that. But, he put me on his helicopter. And that was, that was such an amazing experience. And then after, he had not even been on it yet, is what Ryan told me, his pilot. And he said, and then after GrowthCon, I saw a video of Grant and Elena on the helicopter, and Grant's doing a selfie, and Elena's in the background, waving, and they're so excited, like little kids about to get on his helicopter. I'm like, holy crap, man. He gave me that experience before. It was like the same. It was like almost a mirror image of me doing videos and my wife, Emily, behind us. Like he gave us that experience. So thankful for that. And then the people, I mean, the people that are like-minded flock together. So, it can be challenging, man. I mean, I don't wake up feeling like ready to go every day. I can be as depressed as the next guy. I've had challenges in my life just like everybody else, but having a group you can go to, a community where even if you're not feeling like it, you get in there, you get on one of these calls, and now you're feeling a little more charged. And the other thing I'm so grateful for about the 10X community is it's hard. I'm sure you can relate to this, Ken. Like you're winning, man. You're winning in a big way. You're doing incredible things. You're positive. You're happy. You're helping other people. Like that's not really popular. And I don't know about you. Sometimes I almost hide my successes because you don't want to make people feel bad. That's probably not the right thing to do. But in that 10X community, man, I just landed this huge deal. I just did this, whatever. Everybody's like cheering and lifting you up. That's a rare thing.
Yeah, it's fun to be in a community. And I tell people this all the time. Like people, you know me, I get through the gym, bro, I'm posting a sweaty video. But I set a goal right there, baby. I set a goal 14, 15 months ago to lose 66 pounds. Well, now I'm down 56, almost 57. Well, I bumped it from 66 to 86. So I just kicked it on up. Well, I post those videos for a reason. Number one, it's accountability for me, because if I'm not posting them, Russ Yeager is going to call and go, bro, you not been in the gym for 2 or 3 days? What's going on? But dude, every week I get 3 to 4 people who reach out to me, Russ, and go, I wasn't going to go to the gym today, and I saw your faithfulness in the gym. One of the biggest concepts, excuse me, we talk about at Grow Stack Drive is incremental, not monumental. Small, daily, disciplined decisions over time always yield monumental results. Success cannot escape you if you do the right things every single day. But I post it because I know that there are people out there watching what I'm doing. And when they see that, dude, it is encouraging to them. And the word encourage literally means to add courage to. It's like I'm saying, and like you do when you post and people are seeing what you're, dude, when I see you on stage, it freaking encourages me. When I see the video, you and Emily in the house, it encourages me. Like I'm like, yes, if Russ can do it, I can do it. If Pena can do it, I can do it. If Matt Buchanan can do it, if C-Rock can do it, I'm looking at all these guys, man, and that it really fires me up. And dude, puts wind in my sails when I see you win, my friend.
So much, dude, and vice versa. I mean, I see your sweaty gym pictures, and it's just like, yeah, it just it fires me up, man. And I have to do the same. I was gonna say once you hit that goal, make sure you have another one. So you've already done it.
I keep bumping it, man. Yeah,
once you get your 86 now, I imagine you probably don't want to lose any more weight, but always have something. Dude, that's one thing I've learned. Like I believe in making this a lifestyle, long term, right? But you got to have short term goals too, because being healthy, fit, sustainable for life, having a healthy life, it's not motivating enough. And so you'll see me now. I'm doing a 12-week, summer lean out plan. And guess what? I'm posting online because that holds me accountable. I said, I'm doing this for the next 12 weeks, and here, here's my plan. Here's my starting pictures. Here's my goal. It holds me accountable and it keeps it exciting because working out, if you're just working out just to work out, and you said it earlier, you're either growing or dying. It's the law of nature. If you're working out just to stay the same, number one, you can't stay the same. And number two, it's not exciting. So always setting those little goals is huge.
I want to hit one more thing. You mentioned this earlier, and I forgot to touch base. I looked down at my notes, and I've got it in my notes. You talked about eating pizza, and you talked about just that balance of having some of those things in your life. Talk to me about your views on really the healthy lifestyle and the nutritional plan, and being able to do some of those things that you really enjoy, and staying on the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love pizza, literally more than anybody. I've won a pizza.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I love pizza, bro.
Dude, do you remember Man versus Food?
Oh yeah, they had that 11-pound pizza or whatever. It's in Atlanta.
They lost. They didn't win that challenge. Me and my buddy won it.
Did you really?
Big pie in the sky in Kennesaw.
Yep.
So I love pizza. I had a hip dislocation. I mean, we'll save that for another show. That was one of the most. This was only 5 years ago. One of the most devastating things in my life. And I felt sorry for myself and ate pizza 14 days in a row. This is just 5 years ago too. So I'm not. I never claimed to be one of those perfect fitness guys that loves eating chicken and broccoli and all day long and loves to work out. And so after I won that I'm so glad you asked. After I won that contest, I got trained by the top natural bodybuilders in the world. I did the chicken and broccoli every 2 hours, protein shake. I got into natural bodybuilding. I said, if eating 6 times a day is good, 12's got to be better. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, drink protein shakes. No kidding. It worked great. And I started training my clients that way, not the midnight thing, but every 2 hours and chicken and broccoli, and they transformed their bodies. But so many of them went back because it's not sustainable.
Right.
It's not sustainable or enjoyable. So what I do with my clients, I talk about the difference between eating healthy and eating to look good, and they're not the same. And here's proofs. You may know somebody that eats, eating healthy, no junk food, no sugar, no dairy, no gluten, no alcohol, no carbs, no nothing, but they're still overweight, right? And then, so eating to look good comes down to getting your calories right and your macronutrients right, which is just the types of calories, protein, carbs, and fat, with calories being the primary thing there, and protein a second. And the crazy thing is, if you know how to do that, if you know how to manipulate your calories and carbs, you can look fit, lean, muscular, even have the abs eating junk food. And I know I have to be careful of that because I love junk food. So here's what I do and what I teach. Because my mission, because I know, okay, I can do the chicken and broccoli. I can have my life revolve around working out and eating, and I can look great. But now I got 3 kids, 3 businesses. I don't want my life to revolve around eating and working out. I want to live a normal life, and I want to live a life I enjoy, but still look great. Can I do that? I want to be healthy. I want to have energy. I want to live a long time. I still want to look good. Can I do that? And the answer is yes. So with nutrition, you want to get your calories right? You want to get your protein right. And I can, help people figure that out, what that should be. And then eat about 80% of the time, eat the healthy foods, right? The vegetables, the fruits, the nuts, the leans, meats, stay away from the processed stuff. About 20% of the time, eat whatever the heck you want. And as long as you're getting the calories right and the protein right, that's something that you can get the body you want. You're going to have great health, energy. You can enjoy some of the things you want guilt-free without having to feel bad about it. Oh my God, I'm cheating. I'm food, bad food, messing with your psyche. And it's just, most importantly, it's sustainable. It's something I've been doing this for 7-8 years, sustainable for the rest of your life. And a lot of people, say, well, what about carbs? And, we could talk more about it if we have time. But my thing is, yeah, you can do no carbs, but I eat carbs every day. But then my question is, if you want to do no carbs, it's fine. But my question is, how sustainable is it for you to never eat a carbohydrate again? If it is, and some people I know, they just love keto, man, they'll do it forever. That's great. But for most people, it's not sustainable. And that's the biggest problem, because if it's not sustainable, you're going to go back.
Right.
And with that framework of the 80% healthy, 20%, whatever you want, you can do intermittent fasting, you can do, 3 meals a day, 6 meals a day, you can do keto. That framework allows you to do a lot of these different, systems and structures.
Well, listen, Russ, last words for our audience today.
Man, take care of your body, take care of your health, because if you don't have it, you can't take care of anybody else. And freaking never quit. Like, I know so many people right now are struggling. They're challenged. They're scared. They need inspiration. They're hurting physically, mentally, and emotionally. But I sincerely believe, that God put a special gift in your heart that only you have. Like, literally, it's easy to think, well, Ken said this, or Russ already said this, or It's like, no, like people, you, every individual listening has an individual, unique way of sharing their message. And it's important to get that out of the world. So you got to take care of yourself and fulfill your destiny.
Love it. Best place for people to get in contact with you, Russ?
They can get me on social or russyeager.com, my website, and anywhere on social. It's all my name, RussYeager.
Russ Yeager, ladies and gentlemen. Grant Cardone, guy, been on the 10X stage a couple times, a friend of mine. It was great to meet you and your incredible wife this year and spend some time with you guys. We had a blast. Man, excited for you, man. Proud of you. I love watching guys who have an authentic passion to help people win in big time areas of their life. And I love what you're doing right now with fitness and helping that transform even into people's businesses and all throughout their lives, man. So I'm proud of you and honored to be your friend, my friend.
Well, thank you, Ken. And vice versa, dude. Like this has been like, I'm freaking charged up right now, if you can't tell. And it's because of you, man. You're doing all of the good things you just said about me. Like, you're doing that, man. And I appreciate that and have massive respect for you, and keep doing your thing, bro. Let's go.
I appreciate it, my friend. Hey guys, thank you for joining us on our Grow Stack Drive podcast. My friend and guest, Russ Yeager, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia today. Grow Stack Drive, where we help business professionals build confidence, gain clarity, and create community. We'll be back next week with some amazing guests. I appreciate you guys joining us today. Thanks.